We're going down to Orlando this weekend to see which players will dominate in the NBA's pair of openers on July 30th. My name's Quick Pick Nick, and by using math, computer science, and hard data, I'm here to give you your picks for Thursday's FanDuel daily fantasy lineup in 5 minutes or less. To kick off the lineup, my lock of the week is Reggie Jackson. This newly acquired Clipper is going to give you the most bang for your buck as the most undervalued player available at the point guard position. At less than half the cost of top-priced point guard Lonzo Ball, Jackson's points per game puts him at only less than 10 points behind Ball on average. Jackson is the most valuable point guard in terms of expected output given his cost for this week. The second player that you should find in your lineup this week is Defensive Player of the Year candidate Rudy Gobert. With Montrezl Harrell sidelined due to quarantine protocols, Gobert is the only center left who averages more than 30 fantasy points per game at the position. Gobert also finds himself in a favorable matchup against the Pelicans, as the Pelicans are ranked in the bottom half of the league in terms of rebounds per game, whereas Gobert ranked third overall in the NBA for this category. Next on your lineup ought to be Anthony Davis, the man whose only single digit is his unibrow. Aside from Zion Williamson, who is unsure to be cleared for Thursday's opener, Anthony Davis's fantasy points per game ranks 25 points higher than that of the next best power forward. Although Davis is a game-time decision due to caution by the Lakers for an issue with Davis's eye, assuming that he plays, if you want to have those extra points at the power forward position that no other player can provide, Davis should be in your lineup. The final player that I would consider a lock for this week is fun guy Kawhi Leonard. Leonard finds himself among the top 2 spots at small forward, scoring the most points per game in the entire league, and he is priced about $2,000 cheaper than LeBron James, who only scores 5 more fantasy points per game than Leonard on average. A couple players that I would avoid in your lineup this week are LeBron James and Lonzo Ball. The former costs too much money to warrant a spot in your lineup, especially considering that Leonard has similar output at a better price point. The only way that I would consider picking LeBron is if you pair him with Leonard, which would mean clearing out the rest of your lineup to make space. The other player that I would avoid is Lonzo Ball, who costs far too much money at the position that has many options who can serve as apt replacements. Finally, to round out the lineup, I would add Patrick Beverley as your other point guard, given that he clears the second quarantine period. The man who proves that you don't need to know how to score a basket to score the bag, Beverley is another fantastic defensive player in the NBA, ranking 4th for blocks per game. For the 2 shooting guards, I would recommend Drew Holiday, considering his favorable matchup against a weak overall defense, and Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson was the last player that my model found for this lineup, and given the remaining price range, Clarkson was the best option for around $4,300. For your second small forward, my model projects Brandon Ingram to be the best choice at this point, given the discrepancy between his fantasy points per game and the following option, Joe Ingles' points per game. To finish this lineup, my model suggests that JaMychal Green is your best choice at the position. Given the fact that there aren't any other options that are total gangbusters in terms of fantasy points per game at the power forward position, Green will give you a solid performance for just $100 over the minimum. And that's the lineup that I was able to find using a plethora of equations, lines of code, and research. If you think you can do better, let me know down in the comments. Again, this has been Quick Pick Nick's FanDuel Daily Fantasy Lineup for the NBA's bubble opener on Thursday, July 30th. Thanks for watching.